My friends, wealth is not an accident. It is not the gift of chance, nor the privilege of a chosen few. Wealth is the direct harvest of habits that shape the mind, the spirit, and the destiny of those who dare to believe that abundance belongs to them. The first habit is vision. You cannot become what you cannot see. A millionaire begins by writing the vision, engraving it on the mind, and seeing themselves already living in the overflow. When the picture of abundance is fixed in the imagination, life bends to match it. The second habit is the power of words. Every sentence you speak is either a prophecy of prosperity or a sentence of lack. Declare daily, I am rich in mind, rich in opportunities, rich in supply. Speak it with faith, and your words will become flesh and substance. The third habit is discipline. The world is full of those who wish, but few who persist. Millionaires rise by principle, not impulse. They save when others spend. They invest when others doubt. They rise early, study daily, and practice patience while others surrender to distraction. The fourth habit is faith that overrides fear. Fear says, you cannot. Faith thunders back, it is already done. Fear hesitates at the door. Faith walks through it. Every millionaire must face the shadows of doubt, but those who conquer wealth do so because their faith refused to bow. The fifth habit is gratitude. A grateful heart multiplies what it touches. To the thankful soul, the smallest coin becomes a seed of great harvest. Gratitude opens invisible doors, for when you bless what you have, you are entrusted with more. The sixth habit is inspired action. Wealth does not come to the idle dreamer, but to the one who listens inwardly and moves when divine guidance whispers. Success belongs to the man or woman who obeys the prompting of the Spirit without delay, without hesitation. The seventh habit is choosing the right company. You cannot walk with the doubters and arrive at destiny. The crowd you keep is the prophecy of your future. Walk with those who speak wealth, act with purpose, and move with vision, and you will find your own spirit lifted higher. The eighth habit is learning and adaptability. Riches belong to the mind that keeps expanding. Read, listen, learn, grow, adapt when the tide shifts, for wealth is not static, it flows like a river, and only the flexible can ride its current. The ninth habit is generosity. The closed hand cannot receive. Give, and it shall be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, running over. The millionaire does not hoard, they circulate. They give time, they give value, they give resources, and in return, abundance floods their path. And finally, the 10th habit is persistence. Wealth does not fall on the faint of heart. Millionaires are not those who tried once and quit. They are those who stood up 10 times after falling 9. They are those who knocked until the door opened, and when it did not, they built a new door and walked through it. So I say to you, wealth is not far, it is here. It waits for the one who dares to dream, declares boldly, disciplines daily, believes fiercely, gives generously, and persists until the world cannot deny them. These are the 7 no, the 10 habits that actually work. They have built millionaires before you, and they will build millionaires after you. The only question is, will you choose them, practice them, and let them raise you into the abundance that is already yours by divine right? Stand tall, speak life, and act boldly, for the wealth of the world is waiting to answer your call. Clarity of vision creates wealth, because without vision there can be no direction, and without direction there can be no harvest. Every fortune ever built began first as an image impressed upon the mind of its creator, an inner picture held with such intensity that circumstances had no choice but to arrange themselves in obedience to it. When the mind is scattered, chasing many images at once, energy is divided, action is diluted, and wealth slips away like water between open fingers. But when vision is clear, when the picture of prosperity is singular and unwavering, the whole being begins to move in harmony toward its fulfillment. To become a millionaire, one must first see themselves as such, not with idle daydreaming, but with a clear and definite mental blueprint, a vision so vivid that it becomes more real inwardly than any outer appearance of lack. This clarity acts as a magnet, drawing opportunities, people, resources, and ideas that align with the picture held within. It is not mere fantasy, it is a law. The outer world mirrors the inner image. A clear vision steadies the emotions, silences doubts, and protects against fear. For the mind that knows exactly what it is creating will not be easily swayed by setbacks or temporary appearances of failure. The man or woman of wealth sees beyond the present condition. They look through the chaos and behold only the result they have chosen. Every action they take, every word they speak, every choice they make is measured against the vision they carry, and anything that does not serve that vision is cast aside as distraction. This clarity of vision simplifies life, for it removes the unnecessary and focuses attention like a burning lens, intensifying power until results manifest in tangible form. Wealth does not come to those who vaguely wish for it. It comes to those who have made the vision sharp, detailed, and alive within their consciousness. A person who sees clearly where they are going does not hesitate at crossroads, for their destination is fixed, and so their decisions are swift, their confidence unshaken. Clarity brings boldness, and boldness invites provision. When you write down the vision, when you see it daily, when you meditate upon it until it burns into the subconscious, you are programming the very fabric of your reality to bend in agreement. It is as if the universe itself conspires with the one who knows exactly what they want, for there is no confusion in their signal, no mixed message sent into the field of possibility. The clearer the vision, the faster the manifestation, because clarity removes resistance and doubt. The mind becomes a channel open to inspiration, able to recognize opportunities that would have been invisible to the unclear. Wealth, therefore, is never first the accumulation of coins or notes. It is the accumulation of images held with precision and faith. A millionaire is born the moment their vision is made plain, for from that instant every step they take is guided by the invisible blueprint already completed within. Clarity of vision is the seed, the soil, and the sunlight of prosperity, and whoever tends to it with steadfast attention will surely harvest abundance in its appointed time. Daily declarations of prosperity are not empty repetitions. They are the creative force that shapes the unseen into the seen. Every word that leaves your lips is a seed sown in the fertile ground of the subconscious, and whatever seed you plant with consistency will eventually rise as a harvest in your life. To declare prosperity daily is to command your world to align with abundance, to replace the inner dialogue of doubt and lack with words that create wealth, freedom, and opportunity. The one who speaks, "I am rich, I am supplied, I am surrounded by divine increase," is not describing their current condition, but creating their future condition. Words spoken with conviction bypass the limitations of circumstance and impress the mind with new truth. And once the mind accepts that truth, it begins to organize behavior, perception, and energy in agreement with it. To repeat these affirmations each morning is to set the tone of the day, to open the gates of possibility wide, and to remind the spirit of its divine inheritance. When you say, "Money flows to me with ease, my needs are abundantly met, opportunities chase after me," you are rewriting the program of scarcity that may have been written by years of fear, doubt, or limitation. The subconscious does not argue. It accepts repeated words as commands, and when the command is prosperity, prosperity begins to appear in doors that open, people you meet, and ideas that flash with sudden brilliance. The secret is consistency, for one cannot scatter seeds occasionally and expect a field of harvest. It is the daily declaration, the steady planting of words, that builds a forest of wealth within. Even when appearances contradict, even when bank accounts seem small or opportunities seem scarce. The habit of speaking prosperity refuses to bow to outer facts, for it knows that the word itself is fact in the invisible realm, waiting only for time to manifest. Words are living forces, carrying vibration and energy, and when you choose to speak words of increase rather than decrease, of supply rather than shortage, you align yourself with the current of abundance that is always flowing. The difference between the prosperous and the poor often lies not only in what they do, but in what they speak, for words shape self-image, and self-image shapes destiny. Say, "I am prosperous." Long enough, and you will begin to act like one who is prosperous, and your actions will open paths that would remain hidden to the one who continually says, "I cannot, I do not have, I will never." The universe answers the vibration of your words, and daily declarations keep your vibration tuned to wealth, gratitude, and expansion. They are not begging prayers or desperate pleas. They are statements of authority, affirmations of truth, reminders to your own soul of the riches already assigned to you by divine right. Every morning and every evening, as surely as the sun rises and sets, the future millionaire lifts their voice to affirm abundance, not because they must convince the world, but because they must convince themselves. With every declaration, the soil of the subconscious grows richer, the weeds of doubt wither away, and the roots of prosperity dig deeper until they bear visible fruit. This is why many who rise to wealth can look back and say, "I spoke it long before I lived it." The daily declarations became a living prophecy, and prophecy fulfilled itself because it was believed, spoken, and never abandoned. Disciplined habits over impulse are the true foundation of lasting wealth, for riches built on emotion and sudden excitement are like houses on sand, quickly swept away when storms arrive. A disciplined person does not live by the whim of every desire. They live by principle, by choices aligned with their greater vision rather than their fleeting appetite. To become a millionaire is not simply to earn large sums. It is to master the art of self-control, to order one's days by routines that build compound results over time. Impulse is loud, demanding attention in the moment, urging one to spend when they should save, to quit when they should persist, to indulge in the short term at the cost of the long term. But discipline whispers with quiet authority, reminding the soul that tomorrow's harvest is shaped by today's sowing, and that every action carries consequences that ripple into the future. The habit of saving a portion of income, however small, practiced faithfully without fail, is more powerful than impulsively chasing riches through speculation or chance. The millionaire understands that each coin saved and invested is a seed planted, and over time the seed multiplies beyond what impulse could ever achieve. Discipline in learning, in reading, in training the mind to think higher thoughts is what separates the prosperous from the struggling. Impulse wants entertainment and distraction, but discipline chooses growth and preparation. It is the daily decision to rise early, to study, to improve, to manage energy, and to remain consistent even when no immediate reward appears. Wealth is not won in a single day, but built through the compounding of disciplined habits, and each day of persistence lays another brick in the structure of abundance. The undisciplined mind wavers, chasing opportunities that promise quick gain, abandoning them at the first sign of challenge, and always starting anew without ever finishing. The disciplined mind holds steady, continuing through resistance, refining strategy, and allowing patience to do its work. This steadiness builds credibility, reputation, and character, which in turn attract trust and greater opportunities. The undisciplined life is ruled by impulse spending, eating, speaking, and acting without thought of the end result. But the disciplined life is ruled by purpose, considering every choice in the light of vision. This is why many who win sudden riches through luck or chance quickly lose them, for impulse carried them into gain but could not preserve it, while those who rise through discipline keep their wealth because they have built the inner structure to sustain it. Discipline is not punishment, it is freedom, for it frees one from the tyranny of mood and impulse. It is the bridge between desire and fulfillment, the law that turns potential into manifestation. A man or woman of discipline becomes trustworthy to themselves and to life, for they can be counted upon to act with consistency, and such reliability draws prosperity. Daily routines, even small ones like writing goals, tracking progress, studying one new idea, or setting aside a portion of earnings, seem ordinary in the moment but extraordinary in their results over years. Impulse shouts for immediate gratification, but discipline quietly produces lasting satisfaction. The future millionaire knows that self-mastery is greater than outward conquest, and that to rule one's impulses is to rule destiny. By placing habits above impulses, they choose to rise above the fleeting to secure the eternal. In this mastery lies the secret of wealth, for money will always flee the hands of the impulsive, but will multiply in the hands of the disciplined. Faith that overrides fear is the unseen wealth that precedes visible fortune, for no man or woman can rise to prosperity while chained by doubt and hesitation. Fear whispers of limitation, warning of failure, painting dark pictures of loss, and keeping the soul small. Faith answers with the language of certainty, declaring that what is sought is already secured in the unseen, and only awaits its appointed hour of manifestation. The journey to wealth will always present moments of uncertainty, circumstances that look barren, and voices that mock the dream, but the habit of faith is to hold steady when appearances contradict and to believe in abundance even when evidence is lacking. Fear paralyzes action, but faith empowers it. Fear breeds delay, but faith moves swiftly. Fear sees the obstacle, but faith sees the way through. Millionaires are not those who never felt fear, but those who learned to silence it with faith, those who acted in courage though their hands trembled, those who trusted that divine supply is greater than visible lack. Faith is not reckless hope. It is a conviction anchored in the unseen law that abundance flows to the one who believes. Every step taken in faith strengthens the inner being, while every retreat into fear weakens resolve. The person who continually feeds fear with anxious words and thoughts builds a fortress of lack around themselves, but the one who feeds faith with affirmations, gratitude, and expectancy builds a bridge toward opportunity. Wealth responds to courage, for courage is the signal that the individual is ready to handle increase. Those who allow fear to dictate decisions shrink back from investment, from new ventures, from bold opportunities, and so their lives remain small. But those who let faith lead step forward even when the outcome is not fully visible, and it is that step that opens the hidden door. Faith is vision beyond sight, an inner knowing that what belongs to you cannot be stolen, delayed, or denied if you continue in trust. To cultivate such faith requires daily practice, speaking words of certainty, imagining success with clarity, and refusing to let fear dominate the mind. When fear says, "What if you fail?" faith answers, "What if I succeed?" When fear says, "You are not enough," faith declares, "I am supplied, I am guided, I am destined." The millionaire habit is to lean into faith until fear loses its power. Fear shrinks possibilities, faith multiplies them. Fear keeps hands closed, faith stretches hands wide to receive. Fear binds to the past, faith draws from the future. Every great fortune carries a story of moments when the dreamer faced fear and chose faith instead. for without that choice, no vision could have taken root. Faith not only overrides fear, but transforms it, turning the energy of dread into determination, the pressure of uncertainty into persistence. The one who walks in faith is not reckless but divinely guided, trusting that each step reveals the next, and that unseen forces align with their belief. Wealth is not created by fear, for fear attracts loss, but by faith, for faith attracts supply. The millionaire is simply one who chose belief over doubt, who acted on vision instead of surrendering to fear, and who proved that faith, once fixed, will always override fear and lead to abundance. Gratitude unlocks multiplication because it transforms the smallest seed into an abundant harvest. When a person begins to give thanks for what they already have, no matter how small, they open the floodgates for more to enter their life. Gratitude shifts the focus from lack to supply, from limitation to possibility, and what the mind focuses upon grows. Many believe they must wait until they possess riches to feel thankful, yet the truth is the reverse. It is thanksgiving that produces riches. A coin in the hand, blessed with gratitude, becomes the seed of financial increase. An opportunity, acknowledged with gratitude, multiplies into greater opportunities. Even challenges, when received with a grateful heart, reveal themselves as disguised blessings, carrying lessons and strength that prepare the individual for wealth. Gratitude is magnetic. It draws to itself more of what is appreciated. When you continually give thanks for prosperity, health, relationships, and every good already present, you tune your heart to abundance, and life mirrors that vibration back to you. The ungrateful person overlooks their blessings, magnifies their complaints, and repels increase, for life hesitates to give more to one who despises what they already hold. But the grateful person multiplies their portion because their words and attitude signal readiness to handle more. Gratitude is not passive. It is an active spiritual force, a declaration that the universe is abundant, that supply is endless, and that good is ever flowing. It changes the atmosphere within, lifting the soul above resentment and envy, creating joy and expectancy, which are fertile grounds for wealth. Gratitude spoken aloud carries even greater power, for words affirm what the heart feels, sealing it into the subconscious. To wake each morning and give thanks for life, for strength, for the vision of wealth to come, is to set the tone for a day of expansion. To end each evening with gratitude is to close the day with peace and to prepare the mind for a night of fertile dreaming. Those who practice gratitude daily are rarely bitter, rarely paralyzed by comparison, because their attention is fixed on blessings already unfolding. This attitude invites more blessings, for opportunities prefer to dwell where they are celebrated. Gratitude also transforms relationships, attracting supportive allies, mentors, and partners, for people are drawn to those who radiate appreciation. In the realm of finances, gratitude multiplies money by shifting fear into trust. Instead of clinging to what little one has, gratitude blesses it, circulates it wisely, and trusts that more is always on the way. This circulation, blessed with thankfulness, creates a rhythm of giving and receiving that keeps resources flowing. The one who gives thanks for each payment made, each bill covered, each door opened, is training their consciousness to expect provision. Gratitude builds faith, and faith is the engine of manifestation. Even when the bank account is small, the grateful soul says, "Thank you for the supply already here. Thank you for the greater increase on the way." And this expectancy magnetizes prosperity. Millionaires who endure are those who never lose gratitude, for without it wealth becomes hollow, and what is unappreciated withers away. Gratitude protects from greed by turning the heart toward generosity, and in generosity lies another key of multiplication. For what you give with thanksgiving returns multiplied. Gratitude, therefore, is both the seed and the harvest. It is the bridge between the present and the greater future. It is the energy that transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary breakthroughs. To live in gratitude is to live in abundance already, and abundance lived inwardly cannot help but appear outwardly. Inspired action, not idle wishing, is the force that transforms vision into reality. Many sit and dream of wealth, repeating hopes in their minds, but never stepping into the current of life where opportunities flow. Wishing without action is like planting no seed yet expecting a harvest, while inspired action is the hand that places the seed into the soil and tends it until it grows. True prosperity comes when desire is coupled with movement, when the inner prompting of intuition is honored with decisive steps in the outer world. Idle wishing leaves a person waiting for circumstances to change, but inspired action changes circumstances through courage and responsiveness. It is not frantic activity or endless busyness, but a focused, divinely guided step that moves the dreamer closer to their destiny. Inspiration is the voice of the spirit, the whisper within that nudges, directs, and illuminates the next step. To ignore it is to remain stuck in the land of wishing, but to act upon it is to enter the flow of miracles. Wealth does not chase the idle. It answers the one who dares to act when the inner command is given. Many people wish for riches, saying to themselves, "Someday I will be wealthy." Yet their habits never change, their actions remain stagnant, and their faith produces no fruit. Others, with the same desire, hear the whisper to take a small step, to reach out to a contact, to learn a new skill, to start with what they already hold, and when they act upon it, doors begin to open that were invisible before. Inspired action carries power because it is aligned with divine timing. When a person moves under inspiration, the resources, people, and conditions they need begin to appear as if summoned. It is not forced, it is not strained, it is a natural unfolding that follows obedience to the inner guide. Idle wishing, on the other hand, creates frustration, for the soul knows it is capable of more, yet the body remains still. Wishing without action drains energy, while inspired action builds momentum. One step taken in obedience is worth more than 1,000 unspoken dreams. Prosperity responds to movement. Wealth flows to circulation. The future millionaire is one who practices listening inwardly and then translating what they hear into bold outward steps. It may not always make sense in the moment. It may look small or insignificant, yet inspired action carries a hidden chain of results that lead to greater outcomes. A phone call answered, a book read, a skill practiced, a hand extended. These small acts, born of inspiration, compound into riches over time. Waiting endlessly for perfect conditions is the language of idle wishing, but faith takes action even when the path is not fully lit. As one step is taken, the next is revealed, and as steps accumulate, the vision takes form in the material world. Inspired action proves faith, for faith without works is lifeless. Wealth honors those who prove their belief by movement, who plant seeds, water them, and persist until the harvest arrives. Idle wishing creates excuses, but inspired action creates results. The difference between the dreamer who stays poor and the dreamer who becomes wealthy is simply this: one waits and wishes, the other listens and acts. Prosperity belongs not to those who hope passively, but to those who partner with divine guidance through obedient steps. Inspired action, repeated daily, builds a bridge from imagination to manifestation, from unseen riches to visible abundance. It is the law of life that motion brings multiplication, and that the dream which is acted upon will one day stand in substance before the one who believed enough to move. Association shapes destiny because no life is lived in isolation, and the company one keeps carves the path of their future as surely as water shapes stone. Wealth is not born in a vacuum. It grows in the soil of influence, in the conversations repeated daily, in the habits shared among companions. To walk with the ambitious is to catch their fire, to think larger, to raise standards, and to be pulled forward by their vision. To walk with the small-minded is to inherit their fears, to shrink to their doubts, and to unconsciously imitate their patterns of lack. A millionaire mindset cannot thrive in an atmosphere of constant negativity, for the words of those around you enter your ears, settle in your subconscious, and begin to shape your expectations. The voices you hear daily are the prophecies of your tomorrow. If they are voices of encouragement, vision, and faith, then your future expands. If they are voices of complaint, limitation, and fear, then your future contracts. Association is a mirror, reflecting back to you either the best or the worst of yourself, and over time you become like those with whom you spend the most time. Just as iron sharpens iron, people sharpen one another, and a dull association blunts ambition while a sharp one refines it. To rise into wealth, one must be deliberate in choosing companions who uplift rather than drain, who challenge rather than settle, who speak possibility rather than impossibility. Successful people rarely arrive there alone. They walked with mentors, peers, and allies whose influence shaped their path upward. Likewise, many who fail can trace their downfall to companions who discouraged risk, mocked vision, or seduced them into habits of waste. Association is contagious, for attitudes, beliefs, and habits spread invisibly like fire through dry grass. Sit long enough with those who are disciplined, and discipline becomes natural. Sit long enough with those who waste, and waste becomes normal. Wealth demands an atmosphere that nurtures it, and that atmosphere is often created by the people around you. This does not mean discarding all others coldly, but discerning who holds influence and who should be allowed closest access. Guarding your inner circle is guarding your destiny, for those nearest to you will either water your vision or poison it. Even one voice of strong doubt, heard consistently, can erode faith, while one voice of strong encouragement can ignite courage that carries you through storms. The future millionaire is not only a master of money, but also a master of relationships, carefully choosing companions, mentors, and networks that align with their vision. Association creates accountability, for when you walk with those who aim high, you cannot remain low without discomfort. Their example pushes you upward, their success reminds you of your own potential, and their conversations feed your imagination with new possibilities. Association also determines opportunities, for every connection is a bridge to other doors, and who you know often introduces what you can know and where you can go. To step into rooms of greatness, you must first associate with greatness. To break free from lack, you must separate from those who cling to it. In time, the associations you choose become the destiny you live. Wealth is not only earned by your own hand, but influenced by the company that surrounds you. To change your life, change your associations, for when you walk with the wise, you will grow wise, and when you walk with the prosperous, you will grow prosperous. Destiny is not accidental. It is shaped daily by the people who share your path, and in their reflection, you will see the future you are becoming. Continuous learning and adaptability are the secret engines behind every story of enduring wealth and success. Life does not remain still. Markets shift, industries evolve, technology advances, and the patterns of human behavior change with each generation. Those who cling to old ways without growth find themselves left behind, while those who commit to constant learning remain at the forefront of opportunity. Prosperity is not a one-time achievement, but a living, breathing state that demands ongoing refinement. A mind that is open to new knowledge expands continually, finding fresh ways to solve problems, seize opportunities, and navigate challenges. Wealthy individuals are rarely those who claim to know it all. Instead, they are the ones who remain teachable, humble before wisdom, and eager to expand their understanding. Continuous learning stretches the mind beyond its comfort zone, breaking the limitations that once seemed immovable and replacing them with fresh insights and strategies. Adaptability then translates that knowledge into real-world adjustments, allowing a person to shift direction without fear, to pivot when needed, and to remain steady when the winds of change blow. A rigid person breaks when life demands flexibility, but one who adapts flows like water around obstacles and continues moving forward toward their destination. Learning does not always come in the form of classrooms or books. Often it arrives through experience, failure, and the lessons hidden within both. The wise do not waste hardship, but extract its teaching, turning pain into wisdom and setbacks into stepping stones. The habit of learning daily creates a storehouse of wisdom that becomes an invaluable asset, equipping a person to face new conditions with confidence. To stop learning is to begin declining, for the mind without growth becomes stagnant, and a stagnant mind cannot produce fresh wealth. Adaptability is the twin virtue, for knowledge without the willingness to change course remains useless. Many gather information, but refuse to alter their habits, clinging to old systems that no longer serve. True prosperity belongs to those who not only seek truth, but adjust themselves to it when it is found. Continuous learning sharpens intuition, for the more knowledge one absorbs, the more patterns one begins to see, and opportunities become visible that were once hidden. Adaptability ensures that when an opportunity appears, hesitation does not delay action. To be adaptable is to remain free from pride, for pride says, "I already know enough," while wisdom says, "There is always more to learn." The world belongs to learners, for they are the innovators, the visionaries, the pioneers who see beyond the ordinary and create paths where none existed. History shows that those who refuse to learn eventually fall, no matter how high they once climbed, while those who adapt rise again and again, even from ashes. Wealth is never static. Fortunes grow and diminish depending on the mindset of their owner. The one who learns constantly evolves with wealth, multiplying it through new strategies and insights. The one who refuses to adapt watches wealth slip away through outdated thinking and stubborn resistance to change. Continuous learning breeds resilience, for with each lesson absorbed, a person becomes stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what is ahead. Adaptability breeds longevity, ensuring that prosperity is not temporary but lasting, carried from season to season without collapse. Together, these two qualities form an unshakable foundation for abundance, for no storm can destroy the one who learns from it, and no change can defeat the one who adapts to it. To embrace learning and adaptability is to embrace growth without end, to remain ever young in mind and ever ready in spirit, and to position oneself as a perpetual magnet for wealth, opportunity, and success. Generosity as a wealth magnet is a principle that transcends mere human reasoning, for it flows from the very laws of life itself. The universe operates in circulation, where nothing is hoarded and everything moves in cycles of giving and receiving. Just as rivers must flow to remain alive and vibrant, so must wealth flow in and out of the hands of the one who possesses it. Hoarded riches stagnate, breeding fear and insecurity, but money released in generosity multiplies as if touched by an unseen hand. Giving is not loss, it is seed planted in fertile ground, destined to return multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. Those who give freely are never truly empty, for the act of generosity aligns them with the divine law of abundance, opening channels through which more supply can flow. The fearful cling to every coin, believing that by holding tightly they preserve security, but their very fear creates lack. The generous move in faith, releasing what they have with joy, and in so doing, they draw to themselves opportunities, relationships, and prosperity that the selfish will never know. Generosity unlocks doors that skill alone cannot open. A kind act, a gift given, a hand extended, creates bonds of trust and goodwill that ripple through time, returning in ways one could not predict. Many fortunes have been built not merely on cleverness, but on the goodwill earned through a spirit of giving. People are drawn to the generous, for generosity carries a fragrance that attracts allies, customers, partners, and friends. It communicates abundance even before riches are visible, for the one who gives freely declares to the world, "I have more than enough." This declaration becomes reality, for the subconscious mind accepts it as truth and shapes outer circumstances accordingly. True generosity is not measured by size, but by spirit. It is the willingness to share from what one has, whether small or great, with a heart that trusts in continual supply. Even a small act of giving, done with faith, carries the same magnetic power as a larger gift, for it is the motive that draws the response of the universe. To give begrudgingly out of duty is to block the current, but to give joyfully out of love is to accelerate it. Wealth responds to the cheerful giver, for joy is the vibration that matches abundance. Generosity in business creates loyalty. Generosity in friendship creates lasting bonds. And generosity in service creates recognition and favor that often lead directly to financial increase. The paradox of wealth is that those who clutch at it most desperately often lose it, while those who release it with trust attract more than they ever imagined. To live generously is to live in alignment with the truth that abundance is endless, that supply is infinite, and that by giving you declare your faith in that infinite flow. Generosity is not limited to money. It includes time, encouragement, wisdom, and kindness. Yet money given with intention carries a special magnetism, for it represents energy, and when released, it sets in motion a chain of returns. The law of sowing and reaping is unbreakable. Whatever is planted must return after its kind, multiplied. Thus, generosity becomes the surest investment, yielding dividends not only in finances, but in peace, joy, and inner freedom. The wealthy who endure are always generous, for they understand that riches are a trust to be circulated, not imprisoned. The truly prosperous are rivers, not reservoirs, allowing blessings to pass through them to others. Their lives prove that generosity draws opportunities, connections, and resources that no amount of grasping could secure. To withhold is to shrink, to give is to expand, to cling is to declare fear, to release is to declare faith. Generosity is the magnet of wealth because it mirrors the generosity of life itself, and life cannot resist returning multiplied abundance to the one who gives freely. Persistence until the door opens is the unshakable spirit that separates those who dream from those who arrive. Many begin with enthusiasm, fueled by vision and desire, yet when obstacles rise, they turn back, convinced that delay is denial. But the truth is that every great achievement stands on the foundation of persistence. The refusal to surrender when circumstances whisper that all is lost. Wealth, success, and prosperity do not always yield to the first knock. Often the door remains closed, testing the strength of one's determination, asking silently, "Do you truly believe?" The one who persists answers with action, returning again and again, undeterred by rejection, unshaken by delay, unwilling to accept defeat. Each effort, even those that seem fruitless, is not wasted, for persistence builds inner strength, sharpens skill, and prepares the way for the moment the door finally swings wide. The impatient abandon their path too soon, mistaking temporary resistance for permanent impossibility. They walk away just before the breakthrough, leaving their harvest unclaimed. But those who endure, who press forward despite resistance, discover that the closed door was not a barrier but a refining fire, shaping them into the person capable of handling the blessing on the other side. Persistence is more than stubbornness. It is faith in motion, a declaration that the vision within is greater than the obstacle without. Each attempt declares, "I will not be denied," and life in time bows to such resolve. The law of persistence guarantees that what you continually seek with faith will ultimately yield, for consistent effort aligns both inner belief and outer action with the reality you desire. The wealth builder knows that fortunes are not gained by a single strike of luck, but by repeated blows, like a hammer against stone, until the crack appears and the whole surface gives way. Persistence is the rhythm that breaks resistance. It is the power of showing up daily, even when results seem invisible, trusting that invisible forces are working beneath the surface. Seeds do not sprout the day they are planted, yet those who water persistently reap a harvest in time. So it is with dreams. The one who continues to sow, to learn, to act, will surely see the door open, though it may take longer than expected. Persistence also silences fear, for fear thrives on hesitation, but steady forward motion chokes its voice. Each step taken, no matter how small, proves that the dreamer is stronger than the doubts. Each attempt, though imperfect, weakens resistance and builds momentum. The persistent soul refuses to be defined by setbacks, knowing that failure is not final unless one quits. Every no encountered is but a step closer to the yes that changes everything. The door does not remain closed forever to the one who keeps knocking with faith and perseverance. History honors those who persisted on, entrepreneurs who failed countless times before building empires, inventors whose ideas were dismissed until the world embraced them, visionaries who endured ridicule until their wisdom was proven. Their secret was not extraordinary talent, but extraordinary persistence. Wealth, like destiny, responds to this relentless spirit. Life tests to see who will endure, who will keep believing, who will keep moving until the way is made clear. Persistence until the door opens is not blind struggle. It is steadfast faith coupled with repeated action. It is the decision to rise again each time you fall, to return each time you are turned away, to believe each time doubt shouts otherwise. And when the door at last swings open, and it will, you will see that every tear, every setback, every weary step was not wasted but necessary, for they built the strength to hold what you now receive. The blessing belongs not to the swiftest or the most gifted, but to the one who refuses to stop knocking until the door opens wide.